haven't seen you guys in so long.
All right, Mayor McClure, we are ready when you are.
Okay. I'll call this meeting of the Seward City Council to order. It is Monday, January 13th. It's 7 p.m. Chief, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Roll call for tonight's meeting. Finch?
Here.
Osenga?
Here.
Warner?
Here.
Wells?
Here.
Barnwell?
Here.
Price is excused, and Mayor McClure.
Here.
Okay, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to change the agenda right away and move the proclamations and awards to now, so the folks waiting for their award can move on with their evening. So if we can get all the football players to come in, we have a proclamation for the high school state championship football team. And they're wearing shirts that say undefeated on the back. And if you guys just you can just sort of bulk out there, and just so the camera can see you, okay? And I'll stand back here and read the proclamation. We have a copy for everyone. Except I can't tell when everyone's in. Are you all in there?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Now if I can just open it. Okay, here's the proclamation. Whereas the Seward Seahawks high school football team had back-to-back undefeated regular seasons, and whereas the Seward Seahawks had 8 players named to the first team all-conference and 4 to the second team all-conference rosters, and whereas the Seward Seahawks also had the conference's Defensive Player of the Year, Noah Price, Offensive Player of the Year, Ronan Bickling, you could raise your hands so people know who you are, and Lineman of the Year, Jack Gardner. And whereas Coach Tyler Mallory was the 2024 Coach of the Year, and Coach Cody Gilmore was the 2024 Assistant Coach of the Year, and whereas on October 11th, 2024, at Soldotna High School, the Seward Seahawks beat the Nikiski Bulldogs 36-6 in the ASAA Division III 9-man state championship. And now, therefore, I, Sue McClure, Mayor of the City of Seward, Alaska, do hereby congratulate the Seward Seahawks High School football team and coaches and commend them for their back-to-back Division III 9-man football state championship dated this 13th day of January 2025, signed by me. And there's a nice picture of all of you in there too. And we if one of you guys will turn around, I've got this massive stack of pass that around, and then somebody needs to say something up here. So who wants to say anything? Coaches or players?
I'll get it. I just want to say thank you to the community. Your support means a lot. It's been a lot of fun having a home game and seeing a lot of people out there and cheering us on. These kids have been great. I'm super proud of every single one of them. The seniors, they've done a lot of good stuff over the last 2 years and kind of helped rebuild the program to where it is. And I'm excited for what the younger kids get to step in and take over. So thank you to all the coaches. Thank you to all the players. I appreciate it, and it's cool to see where we're going. So thank you guys.
Super. Thank you. Did we get some good pictures out there of them?
They're doing it.
Okay. Take your time on the pictures. We want to see you undefeated next year, too. On our spiffy new field.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Come in. I like the shirts.
His class tonight at high school. Yeah.
We'll let them
His class tonight.
move
Yeah.
out here.
Thanks.
Okay, so this brings us to citizen comments on any subject except items scheduled for public hearing. We do have 2 public hearing items. You get 3 minutes to speak on any subject you want. There's a 36-minute total. And when you come up, we'd need your name and whether you live inside or outside the city limits. Mr. Clerk, has anyone, no, you have to leave it
Can't.
open, I'm sorry. Has
Thank you.
anyone signed up for this, Mr. Clerk?
Nobody has signed in.
Is there anyone out there that would like to speak? Nobody out there, okay? Seriously? Okay, well, then I'll close the citizen comments. There's another opportunity at the end. And that brings us to the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda, and I'd ask for a motion to approve and a second, please.
I'll move for the approval of the agenda and consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Are there any changes that anyone would like to make? Madam City Manager, you had a change.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I would request that council remove Resolution 2025-004, approving the 2025 City of Seward fee schedule from the consent agenda.
Okay. Any other changes? Councilmember Finn?
Yes, ma'am, I'd like to pull Resolution 2025-001, approving the sewer utility tariffs and electricity, so we can discuss it.
Okay.
That is, oh, sorry.
001 is not on the consent agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, is that the one you wanted?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we will be discussing that. Anything else? Okay, seeing none, we're ready to vote on the amended agenda.
Voting on the approval of tonight's agenda and consent agenda as amended. Osenga,
Yes.
Finch,
Yes.
Barnwell,
Yes.
Warner,
Yes.
Wells,
Yes.
and Mayor McClure.
Yes.
Okay, your agenda and consent agenda have been approved, and on the consent agenda were the December 16th, 2024 City Council meeting minutes, Resolution 2025-005, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Alaska Small Business Development Center to fund the small business advisor position for 3 years in the amount of $50,000 per year. And lastly, Resolution 2025-006, authorizing the city manager to purchase a fleet truck for the Seward Electric Department field engineer in the amount of $50,893.
Okay, thank you. Next is the city manager report. Madam City Manager, you got some report?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. The first thing I'd like to discuss tonight in my city manager report is the power outage that we all experienced yesterday. You may have noticed some strong winds and some wacky weather, but a big shout out to our electric lineman team. They were able to respond to a very tall tree impacting a T-line out by Kenai Lake. And so while they were addressing that, we also started up the generators at about 5 a.m. yesterday morning. Our plant operators were joined by a temp operator that we have on hand, as well as the MSI contractor that we hired to help navigate through some of the issues we've been running with the generator. So it was a really great opportunity to go through all that in a actual moment of need. And we were able to get that generator up and running, and we are still on generated power as of right now. We should be off it within the next few hours, but it's been a lot of work to get some of those lines and everything adjusted and fixed.
On that note, could I ask a real question
Yeah.
for the public? I was on Facebook, there seems to be some lack of understanding of where the generators service. And people were saying that the generators don't provide power to, say, for example, Cuesta Woods. Could you
Yeah, so
make that clear?
the generators can provide power to anywhere that is not impacted by the power outage. So anywhere that the City of Seward services for an electrical, as an electrical customer, could receive power from the generators. The only people that should still be without power, unfortunately, are those beyond like Primrose and Crown Point area, just because those are beyond the break in the transmission. So Cuesta Woods, Bear Lake, anywhere within the City of Seward service range does receive power from the generators if able while they are running.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. And then anybody who is around the Lawing area who does not receive power back by tonight, give us a call and we'll try to address that in the morning, because that is the area that we are still struggling with. I do also want to give a big shout out to the Public Works crew. They were also working overtime over the past few days to make sure that things kept flowing. They got a little bit of a break with the no snow this year, but they're still putting in work to make sure all those culverts and all of those, all the waterfall and everything is moving along smoothly. So what could have been a lot worse, knock on wood. And thank you to everybody for their patience as we navigated some tough weather. The other thing related to the electric department I'd like to note is this past month, any billing customers inside Seward city limits received 2 bills. And this is the first of that big change. And what we did was we split the water and sewer bill and the electric bill into 2 separate bills. And we did this for a multitude of reasons. The first and foremost was it was a recommendation from our auditors for several years, as well in order to increase transparency in our billing. And this was something that was really hammered home to me multiple times over the course of the past few weeks, and people have been adjusting to the change, because there seemed to be some shock that they were even being charged for water and sewer to begin with. So I was really glad to see that change happen so that people can see exactly what they're being charged for each month. And so one bill will be your electric bill, one bill is your water sewer bill. Electric bill is based on your usage of kilowatt hours. Water sewer in the city of Seward is based on a flat fee. And so if you are still, one of the things I'd like to note is that if you are on auto pay, you are still on auto pay for electric, but we do need you to re-up on your auto pay for water and sewer. So feel free to stop by and say hi to Peter, or check out the city manager report for a really detailed way to do that. But we really appreciate everybody hopping on board back onto that auto pay. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to pop by and talk to us at the front office, and to do so kindly. And then there was one other thing I wanted to make note of. Oh, so the public comment period for the essential air service at the Seward Airport has closed. We are patiently waiting to see which provider the federal government is deciding to go with. We don't have any say in that. It's based off of the public comment. So once we know, the public will know, and we'll be able to move forward from there and hopefully avoid some of these icier days with a flight to Anchorage. And I believe that is everything I wanted to touch base on. I'm happy to take any questions if there are any.
Okay, are there any questions for the city manager? Wow. Yes, Councilmember Barba.
How much is it gonna cost to take a flight to Anchorage?
I am not certain. I believe that was in the proposals though.
Right.
So I don't remember exactly off the top of my head.
And thank you for clarifying, because people were thinking that we made that decision, and I've been telling them not, but
Yeah.
now it's out
So it's-
there, so, you know. We did hear from both of the applicants.
Yep, we heard from both of the applicants, and the airport is a state-run airport, so
Right.
it's out of our control. But we are invested in the outcome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you for that. City clerk report. On page 17, there's something rather stunning, and if you don't have a packet, you should go online. Do you want to speak to what you've done?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor McClure. Yeah, on page 17 of the packet is a compilation of all the city council packets for the year. So it was a good year, and looking forward to 2025.
But there's no pictures of my cat on here.
We'll have to rectify
Or
that.
other cats. Okay.
There's a picture of
I'm sorry,
the
Madam
other.
Mayor, there is a picture of a cat?
Oh, yes, well, I wasn't going to mention that. You should check out July 8th if you, yeah.
I will try to look a lot more photogenic this year as I'm running Mount Marathon, knowing what lies ahead.
But we appreciate the covers, and thank you, Chris. Okay, and we have our city attorney here, even though it's so hard to drive on the highway, and there he is, and he's got a report.
Good evening. I do I'm still looking at Chris's pictures. Relatively short report. I think I've said this before, but if it's short, that means we're doing something right. Things should just go along without a whole lot of intervention from us, hopefully, other than behind the scenes. The one thing that's off the report that I was just reflecting on as I was coming down here is I've often said, I think, like at the the evaluations and stuff, that one of my goals is to make sure that we get the other attorneys in my office involved at things that they have expertise in, and just for coverage. And I think we've been really successful at that. We have one attorney who specializes in personnel matters, John Fector, and he's been getting calls directly from the city and kind of handling that well. He works with me on it. Cody George has been handling the utility stuff kind of in conjunction with me on an as-needed basis, but I was tied up in a trial that was a week in December and a week in January of this year, and those guys all just kind of handled things, and the city knows to contact them. And for me, it's just important. Some things are time sensitive, or they're quick and easy, and I want them just done. I don't want them done 72 hours later if it's a 10-minute question. And I think we're in a good spot with that right now. And we hired Juneau's former city attorney about 3 months ago, and he's been handling a few things with the city as well. So he's still living in Juneau. At some point, he comes up to Anchorage to work in the office for a week or so out every month, and hopefully I'll coincide it with one of these meetings. He's just really a good guy. The one thing on there I wanted to mention is this vessel that is over by Tim McDonald's former campground has been on this report forever, and I'm aware of that. It was deliberate. With something like that, there's a strong preference from me anyway to let the person incentivize them, force them to let them deal with it, rather than, it's not really a liability to get involved in it, but it's just a cleaner way to do it. That has had ebbs and flows, and I think it's just, I'm doubting that it'll happen, or that the person can do it. So between Christmas and New Year's, I filed a motion to try to get a little leverage from the court, saying, hey, you guys can go ahead and do it if something doesn't happen here pretty soon. So still prefer that people handle their own problems rather than us getting involved, but we're teeing that up. My goal is to get that thing off the report. So I filed a motion on New Year's Eve, and that's my goal for 2025, is get that out of the water and off this report. But that we worked with Norm and then with Jason, and on this last round, just wanted to mention Tony did an affidavit and stuff, and was helpful, and it was good to work with him. So that was a mouthful for me. I'll quit while I'm ahead.
Well, thank you. Are there questions for Sam? No questions? We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. You're welcome.
All right, moving along, we are to resolutions, and the first one is Resolution 2025, but we have to move that down now because it was taken off, right? So never mind, we're going to move that one down to other new business? Okay.
Or how about a public hearing?
I'm sorry?
The public hearing for Resolution 001 on number 8.
So now we'll go into the public hearing.
But, right, that's what we have next. Right, I'm just saying we're moving 2025-004 because it was pulled off the consent down.
Correct.
So yes.
Under 10 new business, it'll go 003 and then 004.
Right, I did that. And so now, yes, we are at Resolution 2025-001, and we have a public hearing for this. Would you please read this into the record?
Resolution 2025-001, approving the 2025 City of Seward utility tariffs for electric, water, and sewer.
Okay, and you'll find this on page 63 of the packet. I need a motion to approve and a second, please.
I'll move for the approval of Resolution 2025-001.
Can we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Madam City Manager, do you want to speak to this?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. These are our 2025 utility tariffs for electric, water, and sewer. And by code, we update these each year with a CPI. So you will see the water and sewer rates have been increased by a CPI this year. We did not increase the electric rates by that 2.96 CPI. Instead, you will see we actually decreased increased our winter rates by 2 cents. So the big changes that you will see in this Resolution 2025-001 is on page 109, a decrease of the winter rates from $14.51 and $15.27 to $12.51 and $13.27, and that's 0.1251, 0.1327, and so that's a 2 cent decrease. And then throughout, in other rate areas, you will see a 2.96 increase by CPI as per code. I have Doug here if you have any specific water sewer one questions. Taylor is out working to get the power back on and off generation, so I can answer any questions about the electric rates.
Okay. I'll move it to public hearing first, and then we'll discuss. So I'll open the public hearing for Resolution 2025-001. Mr. Clerk, has anyone signed up?
Nobody has signed in.
Is there anyone wishing to speak to this? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council. Are there questions or concerns? Councilmember Finch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I like seeing the winter rate go down. I'd like to see the summer rate come down the same amount too. I mean, that's a large jump to go from winter to summer for a lot of the elderly here. We bring the summer rate down, or I'd like to see get rid of the summer rate.
Madam City Manager, could you just sort of for the public explain why we have a differential between summer and winter rates?
So we have the differential between summer and winter rates because usually your usage increases in the winter based off of colder weather and things like that. So in order to keep bills relatively stable and to ensure that there is some sustainability to year-round energy prices, we have that differential in our summer and winter rates.
Thank you. I saw a hand. Oh,
Yeah.
Councilmember Wells.
So, these rates were what you put into the city manager. Sorry, thank you, Madam Mayor. These rates are what you put into your 2025, 2026 budget forecasting, right?
Yes.
And so, if we were to try to make an adjustment now, but we just approved the budget,
We would have to cut some of the things approved in our 2025, 2026 budget, yes.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments?
I can't
Yes,
find it right now,
Councilmember
but
Barnwell.
I just wanted to clarify, because when you try to compare rates statewide within communities, if anyone's done that, it's really a tough one, because they all express it in different ways. Some express their rates on a monthly charge, and some do it through kilowatt. But for instance, ours is in kilowatts, so we're paying, I think right now this winter we're paying 14 cents, is it? Or around there?
Yes, 14 cents a kilowatt hour.
But it's really more than 14 because Chugach is also charging us 13.5 cents per kilowatt for their power cost. How is that expressed? It's a
COPA, cost of power adjustment.
cost of power adjustment. Thanks.
Yes, so we purchase all of our power from Chugach Electric and have a cost of power adjustment within there.
Yeah. So our costs right now are 13.5 plus the 14, which is what, 27.5 I think for the winter, and then we're how many cents more than that in the summer? 4.
4 cents more than that in the summer, yes.
So 27.5 plus 4 is 31.5. So the reason I'm saying that is just if you compare within communities within Alaska, I looked at Haines the other day. Haines is at 37 cents per kilowatt. But if you drop down into the hydroelectric world of Juneau or Ketchikan, where they have hydropower, they're almost half that. It's just crazy. The rates are all over the board. But I guess my point is also HEA right now, I think, is at 29. So we're actually not doing that bad. Rates all over Alaska are pretty high, and for a reason. And so yeah, I think it's great that we're dropping them down 2 more cents, or 2.5 or 2.
2 cents in the winter.
2 cents next winter. Yeah. That's
Councilmember Finch.
So I take it this is not going to go into effect till next winter? Am I correct?
October of next year. or October of this year. So,
Because it'd be nice to see it implemented now, because that's why I was trying to get the 3 cents instead of the 6 cents, so we wouldn't be in a situation trying to get money back for the people.
Councilman, oh, sorry. Councilmember Wells.
Thank you. To Councilmember Finch's point regarding the expenses for seniors, does the city of Seward, I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask administration to give a summary or a response. So does the city of Seward offer a cost adjustment for low-income families or fixed-income families or anything like that?
we currently do not have any cost adjustments in that regard, no. But we do have resources at the local senior center that are able to help and facilitate and find some options and avenues if necessary.
Can I ask a follow-up, Madam Mayor?
Sure.
Would it be possible for 2025, obviously not tonight, but for us to look at the, and I know we just passed the budget, okay? But is there a way to look at how maybe other utilities offer cost adjustments for fixed income or low income? Whether, some people it's for a short period of time, some folks it's, they're fixed retirement benefits. And I think Councilmember Finch, do you believe that, we can't do it today, but do you think that's a good start?
We got to do something about it.
Councilmember Barnwell.
Yeah, on that note, a couple things. Is it one penny is $500,000? I can't remember what that is. So if we were to drop it 4 cents, that's $2 million. And I think that says it all. We're just in the hole already with all of our upgrades. So that's a tough one to try to drop. I think we've been over that quite a bit. But I think one thing we could do is some people, the electric heaters are a huge issue. And I think people have figured that out after these the huge spike, well, the big spike last winter or this year. Maybe we as electric department could work on trying to get heat pumps or more efficient ways of on reduced or somehow help people or facilitate to get people heat pumps, because they're much more efficient than an electric heater for some of their places. Because anybody that's using an electric heater right now is being killed.
So one of the things that we did pass in this budget cycle was a exploration of AMI metering, which would allow all of the customers in the city of Seward to see in real time what their metering is and what their usage of kilowatt hours is. So say it's a really cold day and you're like, oh I left my heater on, or trying to wonder what it is that's draining the power on there. You'll be able to go in and log in and see what exactly that is. And that also would give us the opportunity to bring 2 meters into a household and potentially in the future have 1 meter going to the regular household and another meter going to a heat pump, that then we could reconcile that with maybe some I'm blanking on the word because I almost cursed earlier and now I'm nervous. But there's other options that we're looking for in that realm to be able to navigate the heat pumps and whether or not there's a fiscal way we can incentivize those through having the AMI meters.
Go ahead.
That's great. That's a really interesting tool. And just that made me think that, like at my house, we live in a pretty small place, but we burn between 400 and 500 kilowatts a month. Kilowatts? Megawatts?
Kilowatts.
Yeah.
Megawatts you'd be burning.
Yeah.
It'd be like you have 400 cruise ships in your backyard.
Our total load on those electric generators is 15 megawatts, right? Yeah. So anyways, we burn between 400 and 600 a month. If you look at your bill and you're burning 800 to 1,000 kilowatts per month, it would be really, I wonder if the electric department would work with, or somehow we could work with people to go, okay, let's go to your house and just look at this a little bit, because I can on a good month I can get down to 400. I'm really lucky. I know some
Burn
people.
a lot of lights too.
Some people I know are down to like 300. So.
Okay, I'll get you in the, yeah.
Okay,
Councilmember
thank you,
Boswell.
Madam Mayor. To Councilmember Barnwell, so we got, there are federal tax incentives, income tax incentives
heat pumps.
for heat pumps already, along with other energy efficient items. And as much as I would like to be able to call somebody at the city and say, please come to my house and tell me where I'm wasting power, that's not feasible.
Right.
We can't afford to pay an employee at the city to go to your house and tell you what you're doing, what you should be paying attention to as far as your power goes, right? So, but there are companies that will come do that. And so those are available options, but I wouldn't personally support a city employee getting paid to go to your house and tell you how to save power.
Okay, Councilmember Barnwell.
I just, sorry,
and then
I
I'll get
totally
there.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I think what I was thinking of is that maybe we can get creative as a city, and there are people in this town that are good at this, that might actually do it as a pro bono, to just go through your house and look at it. It's not really that hard. I'm just trying to get creative, because I just think there are people that are really suffering, and it wouldn't take much to tweak their place to make it much more efficient. Sure.
Councilmember
Thank
Fish.
you, Madam. I got two things. There are little meters you can buy and plug in to see what's your most wasteful thing, and that's a very economical way of researching that. But I'd like to make a recommendation that the next budget, this is produced first before the budget, so things can be adjusted without tying our hands like it has, because the budget's been passed.
Okay, that's a good recommendation.
Sure.
Any other questions, comments? Are we ready to vote? It appears we're ready to vote, Mr. Quick.
Voting on the approval of Resolution 2025-001. Barnwell,
Yes.
Wells,
Yes.
Finch,
Yeah.
Osenga,
Yes.
Warner,
Yes.
and Mayor McClure.
Yes.
Okay, that resolution has been approved.
Okay, and next, our second and last public hearing is on Resolution 2025-002. When you're ready, Mr. Clerk, could you read that, please?
Resolution 2025-002, approving the 2025 City of Seward Port and Harbor Tariff Regulations.
Okay, and we'll find that on page 132 of the packet if you're interested. And I need a motion to approve in a second, please.
I'll move for the approval of Resolution 2025-002.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Administration.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is the annual harbor fees. In a similar fashion, we update these annually as well. There is very few changes in here, except for the automatic annual adjustments of mortgage and dockage rates by an amount equal to the 5 previous full year average increase in the CPI, as well as a few small changes to make sure that the document matches actual practices, including removing the 24 hours a day of the bathroom, because our bathrooms are now operating at a slightly less than 24 hours.
Okay. All right. I will open the public hearing on Resolution 2025-002. Mr. Clerk, has anyone signed in?
Nobody is signed in.
Is there anyone out there wishing to speak to this? You'll get your chance. Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council. And we do have the harbor master here if we have questions too. Are there questions or comments? Okay. I see none. Are we ready to vote? Looks like we're ready to vote, Mr. Clerk.
Voting on the approval of Resolution 2025-002. Warner,
Yes.
Finch,
Yes.
Osenga,
Yes.
Wells,
Yes.
Barnwell,
Yes.
and Mayor McClure.
Yes.
That resolution has been approved.
Okay. Now down in new business, we have Resolution 2025-003. You notice how these fall in order. When you're ready, Mr. Clerk, could you please read the title here?
Resolution 2025-003, authorizing the city manager to purchase a new fleet truck with snowplow and accessories for the Public Works Street Department to replace Unit 121 in an amount not to exceed $85,000.
Okay, and you'll find this on page 180. I'd need a motion to approve in a second, please.
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2025-003.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Administration.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to invite our Public Works Director, Doug, to come up and speak to this.
Okay. We don't have any snow, so I don't really see. Just kidding.
Knock on wood.
I'm not real sad about that.
I know, you're smiling.
No, it's been an interesting winter for sure. Not having snow, having only ice and rain, and just been a little bit different of what we're doing and how to handle those things. But for the winters that when we do get back to reality, this is something we're looking at as far as we don't have a set of snowplow trucks for the street. We hadn't used them that often before, and one we had, we sold a while back. We're just looking at that extra option to have that for the snowplow for a truck. The truck itself is just, we're replacing a 2002 that's on its third transmission. It's just a bad truck. We'll go ahead and get that one in the auction and move it off insurance and move on for the next 10 or so years, 15 years with the new truck. But just needed for the streets department.
Okay. Are there questions or comments about this? Yes, Councilmember Wells.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Was that in the budget?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was approved in the.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
This is just the formality part,
Yeah.
right?
I should have said that.
Even though there's no snow. Okay. But
Thank you. That was approved in this year's budget.
Thank you.
So we know.
any other questions? Ready to vote? Looks like we're ready, Mr. Clerk.
Voting on the approval of Resolution 2025-003. Warner,
Yes.
Farnwell,
Yes.
Wells,
Yes.
Finch,
Yeah.
Osenga,
Yes.
and Mayor McClure.
Yes.
That resolution has been approved.
Okay. And we have one more item under resolutions. It's the one that was removed from consent. It's Resolution 2025-004. Could you please read the title for that?
Resolution 2025-004, approving the 2025 City of Seward fee schedule.
Okay, and that's on page 29, and there is a laydown. I'd need a motion to approve in a second, please.
I'll move for the approval of Resolution 2025-004.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Administration.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is our annual fee schedule. By code, we adopt this each year to set the cost for permits, inspections, licenses, adopting a cat, camping, and things along those lines. This year, we have no major changes to any of the fees. We did revamp the layout as well as including taxes in the cost structure to be transparent on the taxation. As well as you received a laydown tonight, we wanted to include a gym use summer membership versus a gym use yearly so that people can purchase a gym use just for the summertime when the services are a little bit lower at AvTech. So adjusting that cost accordingly.
Okay. I have just one question. I know the answer, but have we changed anything regarding parking?
No, we have not.
So they'll stay the same, and the system will be the same?
Yeah.
Of locals get a $50, whatever you call
Oh.
it, hanging thing?
There is a change. Benny says there's a change. Benny, what is the change?
Come up and tell them. I guess I didn't know the answer.
How you guys doing? Hello? There were a few changes that we made to our pricing. A majority of them will stay the same. We don't imagine any more future increases with the exception of adding taxes and fees. We, I believe, are adding a $3 fee to a credit card fee for kiosk and permit purchases. The kiosk purchase, that was not on the fee schedule. That was kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
But as far as the harbor employee permit, that's changed by $25. The vehicle and trailer permit increased by $100. The single visitor permit increased by $50. Slip holder permit increased by $50. and the commercial permit was not on at all last year, but due to an abundance of inquiries, we brought it back. We had to add parking spaces for it. That is at $350 for large businesses that have a necessity to park in the center lot for over 2 hours.
The parking for the seasonal permit holders was $50 last year, right?
For which particular one?
For the harbor parking for seasonal harbor employees?
Yes, ma'am.
That was $50 last year and this year. So we did not increase so we did make those changes, but we did not increase the seasonal permits for locals down at the harbor at all. We just added a $3.50 credit card transaction fee in an effort. We're going to, over time, hopefully move most credit card transaction fees over because they're a large cost to the city, and this is one of the ways in which we're going to do that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we had talked before about doing that, then it kind of got lost in transitions, I think, so that's a good start. I believe a lot of places are doing that. Are there questions for any of the administration? Councilmember Barlow?
Yeah, I was going to ask Benny. It's Benny, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. A couple questions. One, that new system that we purchased, is that working pretty slick?
It's working great. We had a slight hiccup with our permits. We tried physical placards at the beginning of the year last year. It was not the most efficient way to do it. We started utilizing the permits. Let me backtrack a bit. We were already utilizing it for daily purchases. Very efficient, clean. It also has a mobile pay as well. You scan or just text a code. It works very, very smooth. We really saw it pay dividends for us with everything syncing together when we merged permits in there. Very simple. Click a button to activate, click a button to deactivate the customer. It's very user-friendly, very intuitive layout. So I'd say it's going splendid.
And how many employees does it take to run
oversee?
Yeah.
It can be done with 2 people. That'll be a main person to tie all the systems together and that person have to also do parking administrative side as well as being on foot, so giving parking tickets as well. So ideally we have 1 person to oversee and then 2 parking lot attendants. That is what we had last year, and they still overlap. They might help campgrounds, help maintenance, so we're not a one-stop shop. We kind of have hands all over.
And then the last question was, on that center lot, it's free for 2 hours.
Yes, sir.
But we had talked about last year of, possibly charging for that.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
We like how this works. The community seemed to respond very well. It was contentious at the beginning,
Yes.
but now it's great. Now it's great.
I will say, every time I renovated my house this summer, and every time I had to go down to the fish house to buy something, which was 4 to 5 times a day, I was able to get a spot in the center lot, so I was very happy about that.
Which brings up the one, I got a lot of calls about people who would go there like you to the fish house and then go home and then come back again and would get a ticket because, and we've reconciled that. I mean, the parking people have been very responsive to little glitches like that, something we didn't think about. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we pay it to the community for being patient with us.
Right.
We're human, we're trying to work through it, and I think we have to keep in perspective that we're just trying to improve the quality of it all.
Councilmember Finch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You mentioned the mirror placards. Are you still going to be doing that next year too?
No, sir.
So how is that going to
It's all
work?
digital. It's linked, it's a one-stop shop. Having people have to go to AvTech or have to go to the office. It's very difficult for out-of-towners trying to come in. They might come in at different hours of night. They have events planned the whole next day. They can't quite drop in to pick up their placard. It's just very efficient. You log on, you pick your purchase. You can create an account or not. You just pick your purchase and then you're done.
So if I have, let's say 2 or 3 different vehicles, like last year, I could move my placard between vehicles. How does that
So
work?
you can have up to 2 vehicles under a single placard or under a single digital ID, essentially, and that was well received last year as well.
So how is that registered then? If their placard's not there,
Yeah,
is
how
there?
do they know?
It's all digital. We have.
I mean, like license plate number? Or
Yeah.
license-
Yeah, by your license
I
plate.
apologize for that, yes. It's all synced to your license plate. When collections comes up, we go down to the registered owner, so we sync with DMV information as well.
Okay, so if you wanted to put 2 vehicles right at the get-go, you should do that right away?
Yeah, you can do that at any time.
Or you can add any time?
Yep.
And that's per
Yes.
one permit too. So if you have
Right.
a truck and a car, you can put them
Right.
both on that same
On the
$50
same.
permit.
Interesting. Okay. That is going to be publicized well, that people know that? Because I was thinking I'd be going into Avtech again to get it. because
When
I know we're
time,
not there
when time
yet.
comes to start putting it out there, yes.
Make
it
sure
will be
people
everywhere.
know.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Amy.
Thank you very much.
Are we ready to vote?
Oh, Mayor McClure,
Yeah. Do
would
we
it be
have to?
possible for someone to make an amendment to include the
Oh, yeah.
summer fees for Avtech?
Oh, do
Just
we-
the laydown?
Yeah, do we need to do that? Or-
Yes, please.
Oh, they're not actually
Yeah.
included. Okay, so I will make an amendment to include within the fee schedule, the list of summer Parks and Rec fees and yearly Parks and Rec fees
Yes, thank you.
for Avtech. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, and that's present on a laydown, so those could be included. Okay, so we need to vote on the amendment. Is there any discussion? Okay, so let's vote on the amendment, thank you.
Just voting on the amendment to include the laydown summer fees. Osenga,
Yes.
Warner,
Yes.
Finch,
Yes.
Barnwell,
Yes.
Wells,
Yes.
and Mayor McClure.
Yes,
Okay, that motion is passed. Now the main motion as amended is back on the floor.
okay, are we ready to vote on the whole package? We are.
Okay, voting on the approval of Resolution 2025-004 as amended. Wells,
Yes.
Barnwell,
Yes.
Warner,
Yes.
Finch,
Yeah.
Osenga,
Yes.
and Mayor McClure.
Yes.
Okay, that resolution has been approved.
Okay, our last item of business is to select a council member to join myself and the city manager for a lobbying trip to Juneau. And do you want to speak to that?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. So annually, the mayor and I travel to both Juneau and Washington DC to do lobbying for our legislatures down there. And this year, for our lobbying trip to Juneau, we'll be attending on March 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And we usually have a third attendee as well and a council member. So if anybody is available, we would like to discuss and set everything up to bring a third person with us to Juneau.
Yeah.
Yes, please. I'd love to go.
Okay. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, no. Okay.
Great.
And then we've got some plans for flights, so we should talk at some point about that.
I'll just follow your lead, boss.
Okay. It's a very useful trip, and it's a good thing. So.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, I want to remind everyone that our next meeting will be January 27th, but prior to the meeting at 5:30, we're having a joint work session with Planning and Zoning to discuss some of the issues that they've been discussing. So you might want to tune into that. And with that, we're down to citizen comments on any subject, and you get 5 minutes. Is there anyone out there that wishes to speak? Okay, seeing none, that will bring us back to council and administration comments and responses to citizen comments. And administration, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would just like to thank everybody for a great start to 2025. I will not be in attendance at the January 27th meeting. I will be attending the Cruise Line Industry of Alaska Pacific Northwest Symposium in Vancouver and talking to a lot of the different travel and cruise partners down there. There's some really great things slated about maintaining community as cruise ship passengers increase and things along those lines. So I'm really excited to bring that back as well. And I would also like to update that we will see at the next meeting, most likely, a resolution to accept the $47 million in funding for the Clean Ports EPA grant. We finally got the stamp of approval and can begin drawing down funds to start that project. So you'll see a onslaught of resolutions your way as we start that project up in earnest. So, and big thank you.
Mr. Bickling, do you have anything to add?
No comments, thank you.
Okay, let me start with Councilmember Warner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a couple of things. I first want to thank admin and the clerk's office for putting on a great meeting. I also want to acknowledge in today's packet, there's some great legislative history around the electric and the water sewer tariffs, as well as our port and harbor tariffs. That must have taken a lot of time to kind of put together, and it's very interesting, so I highly encourage everybody to take a look at that. I also want to state that the Seward Polar Bear Jump Off Festival is this Saturday, and it will be our 40th annual event taking place on Saturday the 18th, so I hope everybody's able to get out and enjoy that. And thank you to the Harbor Master for starting the preparations on that. I walked by the other day and I'm pretty excited to jump. It's going to be my seventh time, so it goes fast. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Fitch.
Thank you, Madam. Big shout out to the Seward football team. Another awesome year. Some big boys. I don't know what they're drinking in the water, but it seems to be working up there. I'd like to say thank you to the electric department, the street department, and the harbor for this crazy weather we're having with keeping the lights on, keeping the drains clean, and the harbor keeping the boats floating. I mean, I work on a buddy's boat every day down there. You guys are walking through it all day long up and down them docks. Just want to thank you for that. And on that same note, we have cooler weather coming. Drive careful. We got a lot of water on the roads. Things are going to freeze, frost. We've had enough accidents in this state this past week. We don't need any more, so be careful.
That's it? Okay, thank you. Councilmember Barnwell.
Yeah, ditto on the football team. That's really exciting. It's a great group of kids. Probably some good parents involved there too, maybe. It's interesting to see that football team because for years the football struggled in this town. It's pretty neat to watch football actually thrive, and it's good for those guys, good for all of us. Pretty simple meeting. I think the community developments, the municipal lands inventory and management plan that is in this packet is really fascinating. If anybody has the time to look at that, just going through what properties the city owns and what the plans are for them going forward is really fascinating. We're a pretty lucky city, and it looks like a really thorough, well thought out plan. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Wells.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. So congrats to the Seward High School football team, and a huge shout out to the electric department. I was one of the silly folks on the highway yesterday coming back from Girdwood late in the afternoon and got to see our crews working in multiple places, and the conditions that they were working in is a testament to their ability. I gotta be honest, because it was nasty out there, and their commitment to Seward. And thank you to Public Works as well, because I know they've been doing an incredible job. And also I want to say thank you to the city manager for going through and seeking out an opportunity to be on the board for the Boys and Girls Club. I voted the way I did for the budget, knowing that we would have somebody looking out for those funds, and so I'm really excited about you being there. I appreciate it very much. And I really appreciate, I want to thank the mayor for selecting me to go to Juneau. I look forward to it in March. Thank you.
We'll have fun. Vice Mayor Osinga.
I'll repeat what everyone said. Congrats to the football team. Thank you to our linemen for their response to this last outage. Thank you to Public Works, keeping things flowing during this rain event. Please look at your city billing. Make sure that you're all set up for this new billing system. And thank you to administration, council members, everyone that from the city that's here with all the stuff today. It was a good first meeting of the year, I think, so thank you.
Thank you. And brief. So, I love the generators. You know, I'm the one that gets calls from people, even at 4 in the morning, what's going on with the power. And I finally, not knowing, usually I know, and I didn't know, and I called, which people can do. You can call the non-emergency number here, and I did, and I was told the generators would be coming on, and I turned off my phone, and right then the lights came on, so I could let people know. Polar bear jump is always a good time. My son has been the polar bear in the parade for quite a while, and I understand he might be again, I don't know, but that's always fun. And I just want to put a shout out for myself that Community Choir, Spring Choir starts this Thursday, and we're meeting at 5 o'clock, and I'm not going to give any more details, but we got a Bob Dylan song. And if you're interested and you don't know where we meet or what, just give me a call. I'm on the city website, most people know me, but it's going to be a really good choir this spring. And I'm you know, we didn't have football when I went to school here, but I'm really, really pleased with how the program's developed. And it was fun to watch them play this year and to do so well, so that was very exciting. Anybody have any addition? I knew it would happen. Okay, Councilmember Barlow.
We don't have Mike here anymore, so.
Yeah, I know.
I forgot to say, the $47 million shore power is incredible, and it's a lot with our city administration to pull that off. So I don't think you guys probably get enough kudos on that, but that's pretty phenomenal. We're getting that, so thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, and on that note too, I had mentioned, I think at the last meeting, that when I was up at the Conference of Mayors, it was almost embarrassing when people were complaining that I had so many good things to talk about for Seward, you know, so we have a wealth of just goodness right now. Let's enjoy that. And be very careful out there. I managed to actually slip and fall with all of my care. I mean, and there wasn't even just one little patch of ice. It's all it takes, you know. I've learned to fall well, so I didn't break anything. Anyway, on that note, be safe and enjoy the jump off this weekend. And I'll adjourn the meeting at 7:57.